Super. Okay, so oh, what's going on here? Right. So we've been having a bit of trouble getting our presentations to work. This seems to be because Jupyter has upgraded to version 7 and none of the packages that go along with it match that. So I've been spending far too much time working on this. So there's now a way to do this, which is using Jupyter Lab rather than Jupyter Notebooks, and using codespaces. So codespaces are basically VS Code running on someone else's computer. So the nice thing about them is that they all start life the same. So we can be relatively sure that things are going to work. If they work on my computer, they'll work on your computer. So what I'm going to do is take you through the whole process of putting together a code space with a presentation. If you want, you can look out the window. That's London. It's very nice. It's sunny for the first time in ages. So let's go and do some stuff. So GitHub and design computing, and that will give me, this will give me an idea of someone's work to sort of pick up. Now, my guess is that there's a decent chance that some of these things will go wrong. And so let's find someone who's, can we sort by, so let's do this one. No idea who this is. Oh, hello. So we're going to have a look. Do you have a data project? You have a data project about water, but it has no notebook in it. Okay, someone else? No. Filling me with confidence, guys. No. There we go. Nice one. Thank you, Celine. So we've got all these notebooks, and we can have a look at one. And let's look at the basic pandas one. We've seen this a bunch of times, so we should know what it looks like. Okay, there it is. So we can't edit this, but we can look at it, which is cool. Now you see how as I'm scrolling up and down, it's horrifying to look at. This is what happens when people present from a notebook. They get really nervous, they scroll up and down, and no one can see anything about what's going on. So what we want to do is make slides that make it clear what we're trying to say at any given time. Now, the way we can make a code space is we open that code button there, and it'll either say local or code spaces. We've always used local before, but the code spaces tab lets us create a new code space on main. So we just click that. Oh no, let's stop a code space. Let's stop that one. See, this is fun. All the time, there's always things that go wrong and you have to fix them. So we'll start a new code space. Let's have a go. Create a new code space on main. So main is the name of the branch that you're running on. So this one's called musical train, which is nice. They all have nice names. So as we go along here, now we're in a VS Code. It looks like VS Code, right? Everything looks kind of the same. So this is just going to like chug away for a minute. and we'll see what's going on. So does a little bit of thinking, installing some stuff, and we can open our things and we can edit them. We can run them, we can edit them, all that kind of stuff. So we just need to sort of sit tight for a bit, and things will keep moving around on the screen. So just leave it for a few minutes to settle down. So the first thing that we need to do, so if we go back to our page here, here, as we go through all of these things, the first thing we need to do is make sure that your repo is up to date. So you saw me finding a bunch of people that didn't have data projects. Now, either I'm going to have to fail a ton of people on Monday, or there's a lot of people who haven't updated their repos. They've got their stuff on their local computer, but it's not pushed to GitHub. So make sure it's pushed to GitHub, because you're not going to be using your local computer anymore for this project. Then once everything's settled down, we need to do a few things. So we can go through these steps. We'll go da 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 da. We're currently here at 7. Now, we didn't have to wait anything like 5 minutes, but sometimes you do. So just be relaxed. Now we're at the take a deep breath stage, and we're going to start doing some stuff. So we need to run Jupyter Lab build. So that's this command here. So let's go up to our codespace and type Jupyter is nice. It kind of auto completes lab build. And that just gets Jupyter Lab to check all its things, make sure they're all up to date, that kind of stuff. Now, this takes a little while sometimes, mainly because this NB dime is outdated and it's trying to fix it, but it can't. It actually doesn't really matter, but we can't fix it. It's just going to sit there and be the way it is. So it's going to just chug through and build things, make sure everything's compatible, and it'll take a few minutes. So what we can talk about while that's doing it is what we're looking at in here. So this is a code space. It's made by GitHub. Because GitHub is owned by Microsoft and VS Code is owned by Microsoft, they have exactly the same environment. So there's a very nice way of running this thing. It's not running on your computer, so it doesn't need to use your computer's resources. It's just a little 2-core computer somewhere else. What you can do is get more powerful ones. Now, you only get, I think, 60 hours a month on one of these, so be careful about turning it off when you're finished, but you don't have to worry too much about that. 60 hours is quite a lot. They turn themselves off after about half an hour. If you desperately want a faster one, you can upgrade them, or you can even pay for them to make them extremely fast. Okay, so it's just going to chug away, do its thing. There. So high CPU utilization, that's fine. Just let it chug around. It's just doing the best it can. We don't need to worry about the test explorer. That's probably a me thing. And this takes a while. It's pretty tedious, so you can kind of skip ahead in the video if you think you're sick of this. So let's read ahead on the instructions. So this is a good time to drink your tea, as I said. So once this is all sort of finished up, we can run Jupyter Lab. And Jupyter Lab is a bit like a notebook, but it's a kind of the newer, fancier one. So let's have a look. Still going. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to cut this out because I don't have any editing tools while I'm here. So I'm just going to sit here, stare out the window. See Canary Wharf over there in the distance. There's trains everywhere. Fingers crossed that everyone's got really interesting data projects. Um, I'm not quite sure why this takes so long, but it does. We have to live with it. All right. So you can read through all the rest of these instructions. So far, there's 27. I think there'll be a few more, but we're currently in the middle of step 10. Still going. Sorry about all my tabs. Gives a lot of people anxiety. People see all the tabs and then they send me tab managers and things. All right. Our local friendly party people have decided they're going to go back out onto the roof. This is a good thing to do when you're just like staring into space. You can watch some TikToks, do some push-ups. Okay, we're done. This is exciting. Good. I'll put a little note in the video, so hopefully you can jump to here. Okay, so now we're here, we can run the Jupyter Lab. So this is the next step. So if we go back to the steps and have a look at it, that's going to be step 11. So Jupyter Lab, like that. This will take a little while. Lots of stuff will happen. Then a kind of unexpected thing will happen. The screen will crash. Now, in a weird way, there's nothing you can do about this. You just sit and click around a little bit, and then this will come up, and you say reload, and it'll come back up, and it'll be completely fine. It's very weird. I don't know what causes it. So let's have a look here. So once it's crashed, we have to look for this link. So let's have a look here. Right, it's uncrashed. So this is the link we need to look for. So we need to copy this token. Control C, and then we need to control click that link. Sometimes it doesn't open on the first one. You have to click it a few times. Now this takes us to a security page. So we paste that token in there and say login. You can do some other stuff to trust this in the long term, but this is you only have to do this once. Okay, now our server is running, Jupyter Lab is running, and we've got everything set up. Now we can look at our files and see that we can see they're all rendering. We're happy here. Don't do any editing. So we can't save yet. So we just need to do a few things and then off we go. So first thing we need to do is install an extension. So say yes, we do trust this thing because it's your computer. And then we can say Rise, R-I-S-E. Press enter, Jupyter Lab Rise. Don't click this because that'll take you to the documentation page. Click this, click install. Okay, so you need to refresh the page. So you say okay. You see this little bug here. The button's going to come up here. So when we refresh the page, Here, this is the icon. Render the current notebook as a reveal slideshow. So we're super happy now, but if we click this, ignore that for a second, click this. Okay, so there's a problem. We can't do anything about this. So we need to go back to our code space. There's the code space one here. And we can make a new terminal. And then we need to say Jupyter Trust, and then the name of the file that we're interested in. So in our case, that one was Basic Pandas, wasn't it? Yeah, that's Basic Pandas. And we need to trust all of those. So say Basic Pandas, and then it's signed, and we can trust it's trusted, so we can save it. And then we say, let's say data as well while we're at it. Okay, so those is now trusted, so we will be able to save them. So try it. I might need to refresh the page again. Reload. So now we should be able to actually run it, which is cool. Doing stuff. See how these stars should turn into numbers in a second. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all that's good. So we can also now look at the notebook. Now, we get a bit sad because we get this 404 not found. Now, the easy way here to do this is we need to restart the server. We don't need to close down the front end. So we just go back to the server, close this terminal, the trusting terminal, and then Control C, and that'll Control C and just press it a few times, usually twice, maybe 3 times to get us out. And then we just press up and we press Jupyter Lab, type Jupyter Lab again, because we're just restarting the server. So close it down, start it up. That's all you have to do. The link is going to be the same, I assume. We'll restart the page, reload the site. And now, let's close that so we get a bit more space. Now we've got a slideshow running in here, which is very cool, right? Let's close that so we can see what's going on. And now we can do the kind of sliding around that we've used before. It's probably worth saying render on save, because let's say we want to go here and we want to add the panda emoji to that. Then that doesn't appear over here. But if we save it, just does a little flash and it reappears. So that's cool. It means we can work with it. Now, how do we control what type of cell that is? In other things, it's in the control. The controls are up here, but in this one, it's going to be over on the right-hand side here with this property inspector. Click it, click Common Tools, and then this one is a slide. This next one, let's make that a skip, because we're not really interested in seeing that. Don't want to put it in the presentation. That one is a fragment, that's fine, that comes up later. And all of these things show up in the documentation for Rise that is linked in the steps. And then once we've done all of that, we've told the thing what kind of thing each step is going to be. We can hit this one, and because it's now at full screen, we're kind of ready to go with this presentation. We can kind of whiz through the presentation. We can look at all the stuff. And we can be kind of happy about it. Yeah. Then we press escape to get out. Then this one, see the little dot? Go in here, Control S to save, and it goes to a cross. The same as in VS Code. And this is how we're going to do these presentations. Now, when we're finished and we want to stop, make sure it's saved. Then we can just close the tab. And over here, we'll get the same Git experience as we had before. This reloading the page thing is very specific to this type of work. So Basic Pandas should now have the panda in it. If it doesn't, I'm going to be very upset. Yeah, so the panda is there. They're working on the same file. Now we need to close the server. So Control C a couple of times. Okay, and now we can do all of our regular Git stuff to make commits. And so the only change that really matters here is that panda. So once we're good with this and we want to shut our code space down, we'll click on these little lines, go to My Code Spaces. Now you're only going to have one code space, so it doesn't really matter. But this one we're working on was musical train, so we can stop it. Now, when you want to come back to it, you can either run it from github.com/codespaces or the name of your repo, your regular repo place. And then you just say open in browser, or you can open it in VS Code, which puts it on your computer, but that doesn't really help you with the stuff we're doing right now. When it's in the browser, it's sometimes a bit laggy, and it's a lot less laggy in VS Code on the desktop. Okay, that's probably enough. I'm going to put this up in the instructions and see how you get on.